kind of doing that, okay? Graham Platner for Senate. He's a combat veteran, Marines and Army, okay? Friend of the working Mainer, foe of the oligarchy, husband, candidate for U.S. Senate. This guy is running for U.S. Senate, anti-Zionist, very progressive, has all of the progressive bona fides, okay? Oh, shit. Gray bars again. I'm going to look a little bit deeper into his campaign. I haven't like fully analyzed it, but and I'm going to link up with him and do some with him as well. But from what I understand, the more Republican part of Maine is very working class, maybe trying to appeal to those people and not just folks with gelled up hair as a winner.
We live in a society in which we've been told a story that power is not for us. Power is not for the people. There is a different class, a different type of person whose job it is to wield power, to be a CEO, to be a politician. This is not true. This is false. Power exists for those who are willing to.
I've been hurt before, okay? I advocated for one ogre, and I need to really, really see what his background looks like, okay? But he's already being presented as Maine's own Zoran, all right? Here's Ed Germentum who said that. Here, let's just look at his campaign kickoff video, okay?
What I love most about Maine are the people. I have never met people who are more hard scrabble, even in a place that requires you to work like 2 or 3 different jobs. We have watched this state become essentially unlivable for working class people, and it makes me deeply angry. My name is Graham Platner, and I'm running for U.S. Senate in Maine to defeat Susan Collins. A decade of military service going overseas, farming oysters to feed my community, diving to lend a hand to other fishermen, trying to start a family. But everywhere I've gone, it seems like the fabric of what holds us together is being ripped apart by billionaires and corrupt politicians.
Yeah, progressive mind in a MAGA body. Progressive mind in an Aryan Brotherhood body. Look, I don't give a fuck what someone's background is. You guys know this. I am agnostic to the optics. I do not care. You can be a 33-year-old brown Muslim dude who is a socialist. You can be the type of dude that looks like he's a tier 1 operator going on the Sean Ryan podcast to talk about how, you know, he was door kicking in Fallujah. All right. As long as what's coming out of your mouth and the values that you believe align with mine, I'm there for you. Okay. It don't matter. America's an incredibly fucking diverse country. That's it.
Profiting off of destroying our environment, driving our families into poverty, and crushing the middle class. I did 4 infantry tours in the Marine Corps and the Army. I'm not a...
I'll be honest, I don't really like how much you fucking post that as well, but I guess that's for election stuff. You know? It's just... Because, like, you know me. I fucking hate the Democrats, like... that constantly go, this is the Amy McGrath method, you know? Democrats love a veteran, okay? They love a veteran, okay? Having said that, there are left flank vets out there, and this guy seems to be one of them, okay? There are also a lot of fucking neoliberal Air Force guys and gals who are like... a lot of neo-lib Air Force veterans who love talking about, like, I killed children. Okay? I did so many drone strikes. It was awesome. I'm a much more patriotic figure than my Republican opposition is. Okay? He doesn't even want to kill children overseas. I do. Like, when Democrats run with that shit, I'm so annoyed by it. He's not really doing that. He's not really doing that. I don't know how this will read to people in general, because he does look the part. He is very, grunt force.
Afraid to name an enemy. And the enemy is the oligarchy. It's the billionaires who pay for it, and the politicians who sell us out. And yeah, that means politicians like Susan Collins. I'm not fooled by this fake charade of Collins' deliberations and moderation. The difference between Susan Collins and Ted Cruz is at least Ted Cruz is honest about selling us out and not giving a damn. People know that the system is screwing them. They know it in their bones. Nobody I know around here can afford a house. Healthcare is a disaster. Hospitals are closing. We have watched all of that get ripped away from us, and everyone's just trying to keep it all together. Why can't we have universal health care like every other first world country? Why can't we take care of our veterans when they come home? Why are we funding endless wars and bombing children? Why are CEOs more powerful than unions? We fought 3 different wars since the last time we raised the minimum wage. I'm not pretending to have all the answers, but I know that I'm asking the right questions. When I tell people around here that I'm running for Senate, sometimes the initial reaction is, what the but when I tell them why I'm doing it, because I truly do believe that we can build a system that is going to represent working people, the #1 response has been, well, thank God somebody's going to do it. You're supposed to.
What are his concrete policies? This is nothing. Okay, we're going to get into it, Jessica Tarlov. Fucking calm down, okay? How about you worry about the Fox and 5 appearance that you have today, okay? Calm down, Jessica. Calm it. We're going to get into it. He's got a fucking website, all right? GramForSenate.com platform. He's got it. Listen, I totally understand why a lot of people see a swagged out white boy geared up, looking like a grunt force tier 1 operator, and immediately think of John Fetty Wapman, okay? I get it. We've been burned before. We've been burned before, and I understand it. You just, like I said, only time will tell. But as far as his platform goes, like, I mean, he's actively speaking out about this stuff too. Like, I mean, look, Graham Platner to Prem Tucker on Zateo said, there's a genocide that is occurring in Gaza, and at some point in the not so distant future, we are all going to be looking around and realizing that we failed the ultimate moral test of our time. The reason why I'm saying like I'm warm to this person is not because like I'm a bro with progressive ideals, but also because this is John Betterman. Okay. The reason why I'm warm to this guy is because of who he has surrounded himself with. Okay. His team, from what I have seen, is fairly solid. Fuck, man, I'm scared because Feder fuck hurt me so bad. But yeah, I will be going and interviewing him and stuff and getting a better making a better assessment in the future. All right?
To fight for the things you love. This is our home, and I will fight tirelessly for it, for you. It's Mainers first, and Maine always.
Yeah, okay. Here's a notable section from his policies, by the way. Stop the mass deportation machine. Pass real immigration reform. Rhetorically shows much more in common with pre-Bernie 2016 on immigration than a lot of the modern Democratic Party. Our government is kidnapping people off the streets and imprisoning them in hellish conditions. This is unconscionable. It is long past time for serious immigration reform. Unfortunately, many multinational corporations have no interest in this. They want illegal workers with no rights who they can pay slave wages and abuse at will. I will support a path to citizenship and an end to the mass deportation machine. We need strong border security and a path to citizenship. We cannot do one without the other. I don't love the we need a strong border security talk, but you know. But again, match your expectations. Match your expectations to what you see from the rest of the Democratic Party, and this guy stands out. Okay? It's good to be it's good to, you know, it's good to be critical and make an assessment off of like everything that they're communicating. But ultimately, it's He's an ACP member. He's not. It's funny. Yeah, he's a part of the American Communist Party. I don't think so. Where I stand, Maine is becoming unaffordable for thousands of us. Why? Because we have a government by, of, and for billionaires who are building a billionaire economy that none of us can afford. I'm not just running against Susan Collins. I'm running against the billionaire class that owns her and all of Washington. Even if this is fake, okay, even if this is like fake posturing, it's good that there is this kind of messaging coming out, okay? This is what every Democrat should be saying, including Pete Buttigieg. This should be the thing that Democrats are fucking screaming from the mountaintops, okay? That's it. That is what they should be pushing all the time. We should not settle for politicians who speak in vague generalities about policy. Here's where I stand. Most importantly, I want to hear from you as this platform grows and develops. Overview. America's entered a new gilded age. We have a government of, by, and for billionaires. We have direct consequence of disastrous court decisions capped by Citizens United that have allowed billionaires to buy elections. As a result, they have built a billionaire economy, one that creates explosive growth for a tiny privileged few, for a handful of billionaires and multinational corporations, and inflation, stagnation, and decline for the rest of us. In 1990, there were 66 billionaires in America. Today, there are over 900. When you look around, do you see a community that is over 10 times wealthier than 1990? And so, while my platform spans many issues, I view most of my job as a U.S. Senator to do things. 1, to ban billionaires buying elections. 2, to dismantle the billionaire economy in favor of an economy that works for the American worker, for small businesses, for the vast majority of Americans. I will be a senator for all those who can't buy senators. So here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. In order to put together a coherent political campaign, you need to talk about what you stand for. You need to talk about who you want to defend. And more importantly, perhaps, something that is very much missing from the Democratic Party's method of communication, you need to talk about who you despise and who you oppose. Targeting billionaires who are unimaginably powerful figures, but their numbers are minuscule, okay, in comparison to the 99% of Americans, is good. You need to fucking position yourself against villains. Okay? Democrats don't do that. They want to suck up to the billionaires, and so they look like they're fucking phony. Ban billionaires buying elections. Rebuild our failing healthcare system. Our system for profit health insurance is a disaster. We pay more than any other country in the developed world. Healthcare is a basic human right, not a privilege, not a perk, a right. As a veteran, I'm fortunate to receive quality care through the VA, but Americans should not have to put on a uniform or fight in misguided foreign wars just to get decent healthcare. Every single person in this country deserves good healthcare, no matter who you are. We have rural hospitals closing because of policy choices made by Republicans like Susan Collins. Like, I'll tell you something, okay? Democrats especially, who are guided by fear of fucking up, oftentimes don't take strong positions that they are worried will not reflect positively. Like they're worried that like they'll say something that the media will take on and just like yell about. Israel's a great example of this. Some of them are indecent charlatans, and some of them do have this misguided fear that if they speak out against Israel, that they won't actually be rewarded by the population, by the broader population, which they will, 100,000%. But they are worried that like people will come and fucking petition their speeches and things like that. They'll get suppressed by all of the different organs that are pro-Israel that have made themselves irreplaceable, seemingly, in the eyes of the DC bubble, in American politics and in the American media system. Okay? I think a guy like this could just like very easily also take a strong anti-war position, given his background, to be like, I don't think we should be doing any of these fucking wars at all. I think it's a jobs program, and it's utterly ridiculous how much we are destroying the next generation so that they can get a leg up. These systems, these social services should be provided unconditionally to every single person living on U.S. soil, and that on top of that, the military's focus as a jobs program should be on rebuilding this country and infrastructure projects rather than fucking, rather than constantly waging war and destroying the global south. That is a position that a guy like this could take. Okay? I don't know if that's something that he genuinely believes or not, but that's something that many people would be so afraid to say out loud because they're worried that people will go, oh, you're an anti-patriotic fucking terrorist or whatever, right? It's not a problem to say these things, especially when you got Donald motherfucking Trump who presents himself, who has the audacity to present himself as an anti-war guy. American foreign policy has been deliberately, American foreign policy by design in the media it never takes the forefront of political messaging. It's not something that people care about when it comes to elections either, okay? This is the attitude that people have in D.C. That is by design, because if American foreign policy was at the forefront, people would recognize how violent America is, and people would start asking questions about, like, why are we giving hundreds of billions of dollars to all these other fucking countries, or even waging wars overseas? Like, why the fuck are we doing that? And we're creating a lot of animosity against us around the world. So for that reason, the media rarely ever talks about it, or have a complete bipartisan stranglehold on permanent warfare, permanent military contracts, constant fucking money going into the military industrial complex. Okay? But that has created this very weird position where America as a nation state relies on constant extraction of natural resources from the global south to exist in the ways that it does, to offer the limited amount of comforts that it does to the labor aristocracy, while simultaneously the average American believes that they're anti-war. Okay? Because if they were aware that this entire system is designed on permanent military conflict, they probably would have, they probably go on either side of this equation. Some would say, I'm being honest, I like that we're fucking killing children overseas as long as I can get a t-shirt for $5. And others would say, I think this is unconscionable. We should actually focus on isolationism, whatever you want to do with that, that ideology. There are plenty of Americans right now, though, that feel like they're anti-war. They're anti-war. And yet no politician sincerely communicates this message because they're too afraid. They're too afraid that they'll be called a terrorist. Okay? They should do so. They should do that. I call it now, this white guy's not a real one. I know that everybody wants to be right. And I don't even fault you for being cynical, okay? I do not fault you for being cynical. Having said that, he has a lot of decent people around him. Though he's a political newcomer, Platner has said he's brought on board two progressive strategists who have experience successfully running against establishment-favored Democrats, Morris Katz, a top ad maker for New York City Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani, and Joe Calvello, a former senior aide to John Fetterman. Joe's a good dude, okay? Don't hear the John Fetterman thing and then immediately assume he's a bad guy. Joe's got chops. Former Fetterman guy, okay? That's not a red flag. Former. Joe's worked for Bernie, and he is not, out of like a lot of these advisors, okay? These are DSA guys. It's not Joe Calvello's fault that John Fetty Wapman got hit with the pro-Israel stroke gun, okay? It's not his fault, bro. What do you mean? Unless you're saying he was like sneaking in some extra hot dogs so that his cholesterol spiked and then he got hit with that stroke gun. I don't want to hear about how his involvement here was consequential in the political evolution, or rather devolution and regression of the fucking ogre man. Israel stroke game too good. What if he shot the gun? Yeah, he hit him with the pro-Israel dart. Anyway. I'm not sure what your reach is with reaching new audiences, but have you ever considered being a consultant for a leftist campaign to help with their media image? No. And I don't care to do so. I care to do this. If people want my advice, I'm giving out free ball every goddamn day. They can tune in. And many do, ironically enough. Many people do. This is for everybody, okay? This is free. You don't have to pay me for this advice. I will literally scream this from the fucking rooftops to anyone who will listen. I will scream it to the faces of the Democratic Party analysts and consultants. When they listen, they just don't listen. Or the ones that do listen don't have any motion. Okay? I don't think this kind of quote unquote advice should be paywalled at all. I think it's stupid. My job is to get this message to as broad an audience as possible. My job requires charitability from the average normie that's tuning in. Okay. But it also requires people to hear it and to believe it and to recognize it as a better method. You are the main reason I'm holding up door knocking in the PNW right now? Hell yeah. Funny enough, if you paywalled it, they may listen more. I know. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than almost any other country on earth. That makes me deeply angry. When I'm in the Senate, I'll stand up to corporate greed and fight lower drug prices by empowering. I will end the shameful practice of subsidizing drug companies. I think you should just also go along with like a tangible position like Medicare for all. You know what I mean? Support small businesses, break up the monopoly. Small business in Maine and beyond has entered a new period of crisis. While COVID accelerated the process of mass small business closures, this trend has been going on for decades. Solving this is no easy matter, but many solutions are straightforward. In particular, why should small business pay a higher tax rate than multinational corporations like Amazon? Righting this wrong will be among my top priorities in the Senate. Stop the mass deportation machine. We already read that. Defend our air, our water, our land, and our climate. Maine is a special place, and our way of life, our economy, and our future depends on preserving it. Oh, he did say Medicare for all. I didn't. I mean, he is. Yeah, I will be a strong supporter of the Medicare for all system. Okay, my bad. I didn't see that. Yeah. Defend our air, our water. Decisive action on the housing crisis. Let's see. The housing crisis is existential. The American dream of owning a home is wilting as private equity firms and hedge funds buy up housing stock to enrich wealthy investors. We used to provide serious federal support for housing creation and no longer do. We need to bring back serious federal support for building housing. The VA home loan program has provided a critical lifeline to many Americans. I don't think that loans are the best possible way to fix the housing crisis. I think a federal jobs program that is designed around building more housing, that is publicly funded and is like public housing. This is something that I think a lot of people should be more comfortable advocating for. Truly, it's a terrifying prospect for many who do not see that is the alternative here. Protect Social Security before it goes bankrupt. End billionaire tax dodging. Absurd system. We must pass a billionaire minimum pass a billionaire minimum tax. Establishing a baseline tax that rate the super rich cannot go under. This policy is extremely popular, but too often we have elections between multiple candidates who refuse to support it. I like that. Uphold tribal sovereignty and self-determination. God damn. That's woke as fuck. That's cool. That's Do you think pub housing, if you work for the government, local or fed, like the way military does it? I mean, the military doesn't do pub housing either, technically, unless you're on a base. And dudes literally get married to get off the base in general. I think public housing should be done in the same way that is done in places like Vienna. Right now, the housing solution for everyone, even the boldest thinkers, revolves around the public-private partnership. I say fuck that, okay? I think that's a major, major problem. Strengthening our working waterfront, support unions to bring good jobs to Maine. Union means higher wages. I think people should also be unashamed of calling themselves socialists as well. I don't think it has that stink that people think it has. I know maybe I'm bubbled in here to say stuff like that, but you know, I think it's not a thing that you should fear. It's not a moniker that you should be afraid of. It actually, I think, presents you as a different kind of Democrat. The good kind of Democrat, like a Democrat fighter. I think the association with the DSA and any other like left flank organizations will be seen as a positive and not a negative in the way that like liberals have fucking deluded themselves into thinking for far too long. What I mean by this is there's a lot of enmity towards the Democrats because of their inability, because their lack of interest in fighting back against the Republicans. If more and more Zoran-style candidates are propping up left and right, okay, bro, it's Maine Lamau. You are in California, in North Hollywood. Oh. You are bubbled in. This is Maine. It doesn't matter what people fucking call themselves. What matters is what they advocate for, okay? That's it. That's it. And this guy has got good policies, okay? Turn off the fucking liberal brain that causes you to lead by fear. Liberals need to stop being fucking cowards, okay? And even people who call themselves like Marxist, Leninists and whatnot still have that lib-ass attitude. Don't do it. It's not worrisome. Those labels, especially at a time when the Democratic Party is unprecedentedly unpopular, when it is supposed to be the opposition party to a deeply, historically unpopular president and an unpopular movement, calling yourself a different kind of Democrat is not a bad thing. Wait, what? Yeah, man, DSA with 85K, really going to make waves? The liberals are too plugged into the Dem machine to ever go third party? I'm not saying... Bitch, did I say this man should run as a third party candidate? He's running as a Democrat. What are you talking about? Hello? I'm saying that presenting yourself within the existing party structure as a different kind of Democrat is a good thing. You guys hear whatever you want to hear. People are desperate for change. People want someone who is going to break down the way that the institutions have operated at the behest of billionaires and corporations and the wealthy. They want that. Dude, one of the best things that happened immediately after Zoran was Republicans quickly claiming that maybe Nancy Pelosi wasn't a socialist at all. They used to say Nancy Pelosi's a communist, Nancy Pelosi's a socialist. And then when a real socialist came in and became a national figure, they very quickly turned around and were like, well, you know, we used to just lie about Nancy Pelosi being a socialist, but it turns out that she's not really a socialist at all. Where are the reasonable Democrats? All it took was for one guy to threaten the existing duopoly in a fucking Democratic mayoral primary to become a national politician, for them to turn around and actually immediately start conceding. This should be the proof that you need. If you have any hangups over this, this should be the proof that you need that you can go in a more radical direction. You can boulder in the direction of the left. This will, by default, make those centrist Democrat-style candidates seem better overall anyway to the Republicans that are in the margins, the Republicans who are in the center right. Because they go, oh, well, I guess this guy is better than Zoran. I'm scared of Zoran. And it's even better if Zoran is able to become mayor and do a good job. We need to stop being afraid of subversive labels. Exactly. Socialism is a subversive label, and that's a good thing right now. You know what's a bad label? being a Democrat. That is a bad label. It is deeply, deeply unpopular.